So you are planning a trip to the southern Spain to get some sun, but can't decide which place to choose at Costa del Sol? In this video you'll get some tips about resorts in Malaga region, so stay tuned if that's what you're looking for. Just a quick backstory of this video and what am I doing here. I'm Justina from Lithuania and I've stayed at Costa del Sol for a month in May 2022. And if I knew beforehand what I've learned, I might have chose a different place to stay. I was staying at Benalmadena, and while I was there, I visited as much of the coastline as I could. So in this video, I want to share what I have learned about each place along the Costa del Sol, so that it can be easier for you to choose. Costa del Sol is an amazing destination in the southern Spain, mostly because of its long beaches and lots of sunshine most of the year. The place definitely lives up to its name, but it is also quite a densely built-up area full of beach resorts and historical mountain villages behind them. It is situated on both sides from Malaga, with the more popular being the western side with resorts like Torremolinos, Benalmadena, Fuengirola and Marbella. The east side is less popular as its shores are more rocky with less beaches available. Most popular destination there is Nerja. It is quite far from the Malaga airport, almost an hour drive away. Also, the only public transportation connecting to the Malaga city is bus, since there is no railway there. So it is not the best place if you want to travel to the city often. On the bright side, Nerja provides a lot of natural sights. It is a great spot for nature lovers as it has both the beach and tall mountains behind it, at the natural park of Sierras de Tejedas, El Mijara and Alhama. Sierra Nevada is also not far from there. The beaches here are mostly small and hidden between tall rocks, making them look more cozy and exclusive. Nerja as a town looks quite picturesque, with traditional whitewashed Andalusian houses in its old town by the sea, filled with plenty of restaurants and bars. But the most famous place in Nerja, and what attracts most people, is the Cave of Nerja. It is one of the largest cave systems in Spain, stretching for over 7 kilometers long. Some of the largest caves are open for public, with amazing cathedral-sized galleries and a giant naturally formed column in one of them. It is worth coming here even just for a day trip from other towns at Costa del Sol. On the other side of Malaga there are lots of resorts settled along the coast. Closest to the city and the airport is Torremolinos. This is a very different resort. You won't find much nature here, except of a very long beach. Torremolinos is the best place at Costa del Sol if you want just beach and parties. It is also a great location if you want to travel to Malaga often. The bus and train connection is great, and they can take you to the city in less than half an hour. Same goes for the airport. Torremolinos itself feels like a very lively suburb of Malaga, lots of hotels, villas, apartments and a bustling town center. It is one of the lower cost areas to stay at, but don't expect very good quality in shops and restaurants. I'll tell more about it later in the video. If you want authentic Spanish experience, don't bother coming here. But if your priority is the beach, nightlife, easy access to Malaga and the airport, then it is a great choice. After Torremolinos, there is Benalmadena, the town I chose to stay. It consists of 3 parts: the coast, the town center a bit further from the sea, and the historical Benalmadena Pueblo on top of the mountain. It is important to make these differences clear, because where you choose to stay matters. Unlike Torremolinos, which is mostly flat, whole Benalmadena is one steep mountain. So if you want beach, it is better to stay at the coast. Otherwise, it is a tough climb every day. Just as Torremolinos, it has a good access to Malaga, both by train and bus, and that was a major factor for me when choosing the place, as I wanted to go to the city a lot. Benalmadena is a resort very popular among British tourists. I mean, really popular. You might feel there that you are in a little Britain, with English, Scottish bars everywhere. Benalmadena is also mostly targeted for family tourism, with lots of activities for kids. Marine animal zoo, aquarium, amusement park, and even a cable car to the top of a mountain. Those were the things that attracted me as well, because I traveled with my 4-year-old son. However, once we were there, we figured that we didn't really want to visit any of those places, as they didn't seem to be worth the steep prices, especially that we've been to similar places before, costing much less. The Sea Museum in Lithuania comes to mind. Instead, our next favorite place after the beach was the Paloma Park, an incredible public park with varying landscape, from ponds to cacti garden inhabited with lots of different animals roaming freely, turtles, parrots, rabbits, and even chickens. We went there almost every day. The coast in Benalmadena is beautiful, but the beaches are much smaller than in Torremolinos, although the coastal pedestrian path is more pretty, filled with beach restaurants. But this is where I've got to say that the restaurants definitely disappointed me. The food quality in restaurants all along Benalmadena is not good. Just as in Torremolinos, everything is made just for a passing tourist. I barely found any restaurant that would try to do more than basic meaty dish with fries, or desserts filled with whipped cream. The only exception is the fish, of which luckily there are plenty varieties and sometimes can be well made, although don't expect much from the side dishes. The heavily advertised Benalmadena port is full of restaurants and shops, but we all seem to be kind of a tourist trap as well, even if we have good ratings online. If you want some shopping, then don't expect to find anything more than cheap Chinese produce both in Benalmadena and Torremolinos. I know I sound like ranting too much, but it just didn't match my expectations, especially that all those places had perfect reviews online. On the other hand, if shopping and restaurants are not of importance to you, the port is a great place to rent a boat for a trip in the sea, and the coastal path is perfect for morning runs. The next best thing is Benalmadena Pueblo. Easily reached by local bus, the old town is a lovely place to have a taste of a more traditional-looking Spain, even though it is very small. Overall, Benalmadena is a really lovely place to choose if you want to do a lot of activities, have a good beach, and a good base for traveling around without renting a car. Fuengirola is the next large resort town, still relatively close to Malaga, with the same coastal train taking around 40 minutes to go to the airport and the city center. Unlike Benalmadena, the town is flat, so there is no worries about lots of climbing. Also, it feels more as a town on its own, with its center being the old town easily reached from every part. Although the old town doesn't look as good as those picturesque whitewashed towns on the hills, like the Benalmadena Old Town. But just like from Benalmadena, there is a local bus taking to the nearby Mijas town on the mountainside, which is a perfect example of traditional Andalusian whitewashed towns. You can learn more about it in my video about Mijas. There is the link in the top right corner and in the description below. Fuengirola is also a good choice for a family vacation, as it is easy to go around without having steep hills to climb. There are plenty of playgrounds for kids and a good zoo. When it comes to the seaside, it has a wide promenade by the beach, with cafes and restaurants scattered on both sides. However, there are considerably less seaside restaurants than in Benalmadena, but I guess it's a plus. It doesn't feel that crowded. I can't say much about the food quality, as I ate there only once and it was a brunch, although the spot I found had great smoothie bowls. Fuengirola's beaches are sandy, long, and stretching all along the town's coast, interrupted only once in the middle by a small port. And at the southern end of the beach there is a nice surprise, a tall hill with Fuengirola Castle. Even though it is not very well preserved, it is still a great spot for a panoramic view of the whole area. After Fuengirola, the coast consists of small continuous seaside settlements, with villas, hotels, restaurants, and golf clubs, all the way to Marbella, 25 kilometers away. One spot of interest on the way is Cabo Pino. It is probably the only protected natural park along the beach in Costa del Sol. Dunas de Rtola are natural sand dunes formed in the area, with its own ecosystem. The beach there also has much softer sand than the rest of the coast. Probably the most famous resort in Costa del Sol is Marbella. If you want both a beautiful traditional whitewashed Andalusian town and a seaside resort, then this is it. It is the most expensive resort in Costa del Sol and is quite far from the airport and Malaga, 50 kilometers away. There is no railway, so the transportation is either bus or car. Bus trip can be long and cumbersome, which leaves us to the most convenient transportation, car. It will take around 40–50 minutes to reach the airport and the city, when the traffic is low. Marbella is no small village. It has around 150,000 inhabitants, which is double from Fuengirola. It feels much more like a city and has a well-preserved old town, with a web of narrow streets and small squares here and there. Marbella still manages to have the atmosphere of a resort, with a busy promenade on the coast with plenty of restaurants. There even is a square near the seaside with sculptures created by Salvador Dali. However, the beaches in Marbella center are a bit small, so they probably get crowded often. The reason for it is that there are two small ports near the center. But the most famous port is not even inside Marbella. 10 kilometers away from the center there is Puerto Banús, where some of the biggest and most luxurious yachts in Spain take the spotlight. Puerto Banús is also famous for luxury shops and good cafes, bars and restaurants all situated around the port. Overall, Marbella is a great choice for holiday if you're not bothered by higher rent prices, distance from major urban centers, and you want everything in one place: beach, water activities, city amenities, good restaurants, and shopping experience. So, I have told you everything I learned about Costa del Sol, and I hope that this has been useful for you. Let me know in the comments which resort you would like to choose for your holiday. Thanks for watching!